Hi, welcome to the third part of Get Started in Lightroom 2. Now in this part we're going to have a look at the Develop module. That can be selected from just up here, and this is where all the interesting stuff happens. This is where we can start enhancing our images, playing with the contrast, playing with the saturation, all the stuff like that, and make it look a lot better. So I'm just going to hide this top bar just by clicking on that there to give it a bit more working space. Okay, first of all, let's have a look at the basic menu. We had a look at this in the first part, so let's just have a quick play. The image is still a little bit warm, so I'm just going to take down the warmth a little bit here with the temperature slider, and also I'm just going to cut out a little bit of the saturation. Let's just bring that one down. Okay, that's a bit better. Right, so have a look at some of the other stuff that we can do down here. So this is the tone curve, and for those of you who have used Photoshop, you might recognise this. It's exactly the same as curves in Photoshop, but it's a little bit easier to use. Traditionally what we'd do is we'd come on and we could click and drag on this line here just to adjust the contrast, and what you're normally looking for is an S shape like this to give you a nice boosted contrast. But we're not going to do that in Lightroom. It's not the easiest way. If I come down here and click anywhere in this bottom section, I can just reset all of these sliders, and what I'm going to do instead is come to these sliders down here, and I'm going to click and drag one just to adjust the different tonal areas of the image. It's really straightforward. Shadows, that adjusts the shadows. Double click it to reset it. Darks, that's the dark tones, and you can guess the other two. Okay, so let's have a look what we can do here. Shadows, let's give it a little bit more punch down here. Darks, maybe let's just brighten that up a little bit. We'll just play around with this. And we don't even have to worry about this curve, it will do its own thing as we're going through. Let me just bring this one up a little bit more, darks up a little bit more, and you can quickly get a nice punchy image here. We're losing a little bit of the highlights now, but I'm going to show you a little trick. Up the top here, on the histogram, we can actually click and drag the different areas just to change some of the settings. Here you can see it says blacks, this section fill light, this section exposure, and this section up here recovery. So what we can do is just drag this recovery here, just click and drag on the histogram. We can actually pull back some of those highlights. Let's just brighten it up a little bit. Don't need any fill lights for this one. And it's very, very simple to do. So let's scroll down and see what else we can do. Down here we have the confusingly named HSL Color Grayscale palette. Now this is actually three palettes in one. As you can see, as I'm hovering over these, they're highlighting, apart from color, of course, because that's the one we've actually got selected at the minute. But the one we want here is HSL, which stands for Hue, Saturation and Luminance, as you can see just below it. Now what we want to do is just adjust the saturation of some of the tones in this image. So I'm going to click here, Saturation. You've got 8 different color bands here, and I can just drag to affect those individual colours. Now I'll just knock back the reds a little bit, and the oranges just to desaturate the skin a little more. That's looking better. We can even do it on the background there with the blues. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. We've also got luminance up here, and that is brightness. So if I adjust the orange here, we can actually brighten up the skin tones or darken them down. Now I'm going to just brighten it up a little bit. Maybe just brighten up the reds a little bit. What will the yellows do? Yeah, just a little bit. Just balances off that side of the face. We've also got one final one here, which is hue. So red, if we drag it this way, will make it more magenta. This way will make it more orange. And we can just balance that out if we wanted a little bit warmer, perhaps. We can just play around with some of these. Okay, one useful thing to remember about this is you've got this little target icon here. Now what we can do with this selected, if we just click that, is now click and drag on the actual tones within our image to adjust them directly. Now, to show you what I mean, if I come across here to the face, if I drag up or down with the mouse now with it selected, I can change the hue of that selected area. And as you notice, the sliders over here are adjusting as I do so. I can just change the tone of that background if I want. Even perhaps the eyes here, let's just give that one a go. It's adjusting a few of the other tones as well. We can do that for any of these sections. Saturation, just bump it up, push it back down again. You can do whatever you want just by clicking on the image. Okay, one more thing we can have a look at just before we finish is grayscale. If I click on that, the image will go black and white. But it's a little bit more intelligent than you might think. Lightroom's actually applied some settings that it feels should give you a nice balanced image. If you want to reset that, just click where it says grayscale mix at the top, and then what you can do is just come on here and click and drag these, just to change the brightness of those different areas. As you can see, if I do that, you could really bring out the freckles in the face there, but doing the opposite, that will nice and smooth it out. And again, we've got this little target icon. Wherever you see that, it does the same thing. It allows you to click and drag on the image. We can even do the same for the tone curve we looked at earlier. We can just go through here, we can change the background, the foreground. Any of the different colours that were in the original image can be adjusted separately from the other ones, and it's really easy to do. Okay, I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit more contrast. And there we go, that's looking pretty cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a play with these sliders, you can't really go wrong. If you don't like some of the settings you've made, you can always go to Edit and Undo there, or you can just hit Reset to revert back to the original. Well, I hope you join me next time when I'll be looking back in the Develop menu at some of the advanced features on offer, such as the graduated filter tool that will allow you to create ND grad effects on your landscapes to balance the exposure. It looks really good and it's really easy to do. I'll see you then.